What's going on, Nuggets fans? Welcome to episode 5 of the Stiffs NBA show, brought to you by the Denver Stiffs, denverstiffs.com. I'm your host, Brendan Vogt, alongside your bigger other host, Adam Mares. Adam, we thought this would be a ton of fun, but the Nuggets are 1-6 in their last 7. Are you having fun, boss?
I'm always having fun, but this is Nug life.
I'm not having a ton of fun right now.
This last couple of weeks hasn't been that fun.
It's been really rough, and maybe the toughest part, dude, has been people go, what's wrong with the Nuggets? There's not really one simple explanation, is there?
There's not. There's a lot to unpack with them right now, but there are some signs they're trending upward at least.
You know what it's going to take, I think? It's going to take a professional, Adam, a medical professional.
Ooh, do we know one?
To diagnose what's wrong. Well, let's turn to our...
We should have done a snap feature where we go snap and then...
Oh, yeah, you're right. We're not that next level. This is 2D chess. There we go. These are, oh, wow, courtesy of Adam's children, covered in some vomit and some drool.
Can you hold still? Just
no,
a little...
don't put that in my ear.
Okay, and in the mouth. I guess I should have done mouth first.
Oh, this is terrible. But it's a good gimmick. I like it. So, Dr. Mares, let's try to get in there and diagnose the problem. What are you seeing with the 1-6 Denver Nuggets?
Well, I think the first thing you look at is turnovers / point guard play. There's a lot of overlap between those two issues. It's not a complete overlap. There's a little bit separate there. But, you know, I think Jamal Murray has really had a tough stretch over the last couple weeks. And while there's other things going on, you really set the tone with your point guard getting the ball across half court quickly.
It's a good start.
Getting the ball to guys in the spots that they like and just getting the flow of that offense going. He's really struggled with that in stretches, large stretches. And then in the half court, not just him, but when the team turns it over and throws fewer assists, they lose. When their assists goes up and their turnovers go down, they win. And for whatever reason, Denver goes through moments like they did in the first half of the Milwaukee game where they throw 19 assists and very few turnovers. Then they go through moments like the second half of the Milwaukee game, very few assists and lots of turnovers. So being consistent with valuing the ball, I think, is one of the biggest issues they're facing.
The Nuggets have turned the ball over a lot in the Jokic era, and so I do wonder, okay, is that a symptom of the style of play? But as you just mentioned, that first half against Milwaukee, turnovers weren't the problem, and that was Denver playing their best half-court offensive basketball. So where is this coming from? What are you seeing in terms of the turnovers?
I think the team turns the ball over not when they get the ball moving too much, but really when they try to get the ball moving too much, but guys get stagnant. If you look at that first half, cuts, everybody was on the same page, making cuts and making reads. In the second half, when Milwaukee went on their run, I thought Denver got tight. And they do this a lot in games where they stop moving so much, but they're still trying to throw those same passes just off of less movement, and that's when the turnovers really start to snowball. So for me, it's not a matter of do they need to go away from playing this high-powered, fast-paced offense. It's no, they need to get better at staying consistent with it.
So if anything, you think maybe down the stretch of these games, they need to turn the pace back up a little bit.
Yeah, well, you know, they don't have players that are great at breaking down the defense one-on-one. They have to break down the defense through smart action, well-timed actions, and through lots of passing and cutting. So when they do get bogged down, that's when you see 24-second violations, late shot clocks, step backs that get blocked, or stagnant post-ups that don't work. So yeah, I think that's where the turnovers come in more than anything.
Their best player, Nikola Jokic, has really struggled to make an impact in the fourth quarter as of late. Maybe, Adam, some of it is he doesn't have that, I guess you could call it Jimmy Butler style in him in terms of competitive nature. But
toxic mambalidity.
That's a good term. Is that yours?
No.
Okay. But also, I think, you know, they're not only are they struggling to get him the ball in advantageous positions. We talked about Murray's struggles in that arena. But like you said, when they are getting him the ball, they're not playing off of him, which is what makes them who they are.
It's not just him either. Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, Paul Millsap, all these guys have struggled in fourth quarters. And I do think playing a free-flowing, high-paced offense will always, when it gets to the fourth quarter, especially the back half of the fourth quarter, it's difficult to maintain that because the game slows down, because it becomes a little bit more deliberate. But there's things Denver can do in those fourth quarters that's more of a bridge or a tweak to the Jokic ball, that what we call Jokic ball, that fast-paced offense. You're not going to have maybe 7-8 passes in the half court, but you can still focus on that weak side off-ball action. I think right now Denver's throwing the ball into the post and watching, or they're spreading the ball court and running pick and roll, but there's no secondary actions. It's very easy to defend. I think Denver needs to be better on the weak side.
Typically, when you see a team struggle to execute in the fourth quarter, your mind might wander to, okay, is this on the coaching staff? So this is a hard conversation to have, which we'll touch on, but what are you seeing from Michael Malone? How can he help them get back on track? And how much of this is maybe, like, can be blamed on him?
It's tough because, like, as you kind of referenced, we don't know. We can diagnose what's happening, but we don't always know the cause. And I think for Malone, he's always aware of the numbers. I think he sees what's going on with his team and how they turn the ball over. But I think just understanding what gets this team open shots in the half court and trying to emphasize those things, the ball movement, the weak side action, becoming more nuanced in how they use their weak side action. To me, that's really where most of this comes down to.
And what do you think of the minutes? Because he's sort of been stuck in a tough place. The bench has at times played better than the starters. Some people have criticized him when he doesn't close with Monte.
Yeah.
But there's also the fact that, the starters aren't getting to play a ton in the fourth quarter. Do you like the sort of how the minutes are being divvied out here?
Nikola Jokic is 29 minutes per game right now, and I think that's a real concern. Now, it might be that he's not in great shape. He's giving so much on the defensive effort this year, way more than we've seen at any point in his career, and maybe he's not in shape to play that well on both ends of the court, and he needs to get in better shape to earn those minutes. But at the same time, he is a max player now, and playing 29 minutes, I don't think you're going to find too many guys that make that kind of money that are playing that little. I would like to see his minutes go up 33, 34 minutes per night if he can handle it.
And finally, Doctor, we spent a lot of time talking about the offense here. What about the defense? Because that really was the key behind the 9-1 start, and I think it's been a big factor in this 1-6 slip. Certainly is if you ask Malone. Do you think this is a product of now they're so focused on getting the offense going that the multiple efforts have slipped?
Maybe, and it might be one of those things where it takes 20 games to get both, to figure out the right balance between both things. But I would say right now, they played Milwaukee twice, one of the best offenses in the league. New Orleans, they played Houston. They've played good offensive teams, and their defenses looked really bad. When they played the Atlanta Hawks, their defense looked great. So I'm inclined to give it some more games because I do think there's been some great defensive stretches for this team even through the slide. So I'm inclined to see what they look like once the schedule softens up a little bit.
They're probably not the 9-1 team. They're probably not the 1-6 team. They're probably not an elite defense, but they're probably a better offense than this. Adam, I don't know. The real Nuggets are somewhere in between all these factors.
10-7 isn't bad. I think we'll learn a lot about over the next 3, 4, 5 games because they have the Lakers at home. That's not a gimme. That would be a good win, but they need to win it. It'd be a bad loss. So I think we're going to learn a lot about the team over this next 5-game stretch.
Let's move on to our next gimmick because this is disgusting.
Here's a play I like quite a bit that demonstrates sort of a good cutting principle, all about the timing of the cut on the weak side. If you look at this play, it's Nikola Jokic getting an isolation post up against Vince Carter in the post, a mismatch for Jokic where he's really going to force the defense to help. And what you've got is you got some players spotted up on the weak side, but I want you to focus in on Juancho Hernangomez and just watch sort of the timing. He's sitting there waiting for his moment to cut, to distract the defense the most and to force them to think. And what he does here is he watches Jokic operate, and he's waiting for the help side, which in this case is Trae Young, to commit, but also waiting for Jokic to go into his shooting motion for the moment where he actually picks up the ball and goes to attack. And you could see right as he spins, Juancho cuts in, and Jokic is able to read the skip pass to Monte Morris. Now, even though he misses the shot, this is still a great cut by Juancho, who's one of the best cutters, if not the best cutter on the team, taking his time to really go at the right moment to create the most confusion. As Trae Young helps, everybody's defensive assignment changes. Juancho does a good job of cutting and then sneaking behind the defense, getting right there in position for offensive rebounds, and of course he creates this open shot for Monte Morris. If we really slow things down, you could watch Juancho and Trae Young sort of on the same rhythm here. You see they both kind of get in their crouch at the exact same moment. It's kind of cool to see. Great timing by both guys. Nikola Jokic as good as anyone at reading when that help side is coming, and Juancho helps open up an easy basket for his teammate.
All right, Adam, you're a family man, so I'm sure you know Thanksgiving, and early Thanksgiving is just around the corner. Are you prepared, by the way? Are you a big Thanksgiving guy?
I like Thanksgiving. It's a great holiday. It's a family holiday. The food's terrible.
It is.
It's horrible. It's disgusting. It's turkey. Nobody likes that's dry. It's stuffing.
Here's a take. If you really liked it, you'd eat it more than once a year. That's how I feel.
It's true.
That said, let's get in the holiday spirit, man. Let's find some things that we're grateful for here, despite how rough it looks in Nuggets land.
Should we find things we're grateful for or thankful for?
I don't know.
For Thanksgiving.
You're right, because the word
giving?
thank, yeah. But it's a gratitude list. Shut up. What are you thankful for?
Number one thing I'm thankful for with the Nuggets, they started 9-1. Oof. I know it feels like a lifetime ago, but imagine where they would be if they didn't. If they'd started 7-3 or something like that, or then they would be really, really bad shape. they did get off to that hot start, which has afforded them to have this slide and not completely ruin their season.
Yeah, they bought themselves some time. Better now than March, right? But along those same lines, man, I think you're happy about the hot start. I'm happy about the slow start from some of these Western Conference competitors, Utah, Minnesota, heck, even Houston, who I think will get there.
Lakers too,
because they're really starting to turn it on. And while the Nuggets have certainly blown that early momentum and that early cushion, they also were afforded one by their rivals. So shouts, especially you, Utah.
Shouts to Utah.
Shouts to Utah for sure. What else are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for Juancho Hernangomez. My boy, he's playing great. I was worried he wasn't going to get a chance this year because of how much time he missed last year, and there's so deep in terms of, young prospects that could deserve minutes. But he has gotten an opportunity and I think solidified himself as a big piece of the rotation. Even when guys come back, I hope he's still in the lineup. He's shooting great. He offensively, I think he's just a perfect player alongside Nikola Jokic. Defensively, he has a lot of shortcomings, but I don't think he's going to fix those without playing time. So I'm glad he gets this opportunity, and I hope by the end of the season, defensively, he's a lot more solid. And
he also has a little bit of that Torrey Craig in him. He'll hustle, he'll dive on the floor for a loose ball, he'll get that offensive rebound. So Juancho's been great. I'll stick with the personnel theme, man. I'm going to go with Monte Morris.
Oh, man.
Where would the Nuggets be without their maybe steadiest player?
In the lottery.
In the lottery. It's possible. Monte Morris has been a really important piece of this team, and man, you want to juxtapose it with how it felt when Emmanuel Mudiay was in charge of the second unit. All of a sudden, man, we go from holding our breath when the bench is in there to going, man, thank God the bench is in there.
He's been great, man. So much so that I think we kind of want to see him closing games sometimes, as crazy as that is. But he's such a steadying force out there. And who would have guessed the guy with the best assist-to-turnover ratio in college would also have the best in the NBA? Go figure.
It's almost like he's really good or something.
Might be.
Adam, what else are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for the great crowds that have been at Pepsi Center so far this year. They might not be there anymore the rest of the year. You lose 3 out of 4 at home, then maybe they lose faith. But through the first month and a half of the season, the crowds at Pepsi Center have been so much fun. There's been a great energy. You can just feel the city starting to believe in this team right in time for them to throw it all away.
I know. That's why I was so high on the Nuggets. That was a big part of it. I was really believing in the direction they were headed in. But hey, the season's still young. I am grateful for the lack of national media attention. I know Nuggets fans are usually bummed out by that, but I can't explain enough how hard this team would be melting under the microscope and the light of that national gaze. I mean, you do not want the Lakers treatment right now when you have players who aren't jiving and when things look this bad on the court.
Yeah, they went through a real hard stretch, especially Nikola Jokic a week and a half ago. And, imagine if it was LA or New York, where they're talking about this 24 hours a day on ESPN and every paper's writing these hate pieces. So it's a good thing that Denver has been out of the spotlight over the last couple of weeks while they've been trying to figure themselves out.
If it was in New York, Jokic might have retired by now. Flat out. He flat out. All right, Adam, so we're still grateful despite everything that's going on. And we also have some cool stuff to plug at denverstiffs.com, so the spotlight is yours, my friend.
The coolest thing to plug, our annual charity event that you can be a part of. Every year we partner with the Denver Nuggets and with Hope Kids Colorado, a nonprofit that works with kids who have cancer and other life-threatening illnesses. These are kids that have spent years of their life in the hospitals going through treatments. We're trying to provide them a night they won't forget. You can go to denverstiffs.com and donate $10. We'll send a kid that's in the Hope Kids program to watch the Denver Nuggets take on the Charlotte Hornets on January 5th, and they'll get to meet other kids who are going through similar things. You think about how isolating a 7-year-old with cancer, going through leukemia, all these different things. The opportunity to meet other kids going through similar things or who have survived similar illnesses, to be able to meet those kids and then watch the Denver Nuggets, get autographs and meet some of the Denver Nuggets players. It's a great event, and you can be a part of it.
That's some of the best things that sports have to offer right there are wrapped up into that experience. So get after it, do the right thing, make a donation, and don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. That's how you get dope content like these Stiffs NBA shows, like all of our pregame and postgame interviews with the players and the coaches, and of course these new cool breakdowns you're doing on YouTube, man.
Yeah, excited for it, and we continue to keep adding layers to this this channel throughout the year. So definitely subscribe, tell your friends about it. It's gonna be great.
Stick with the Nuggets, stick with us. The ship is not sinking yet.
Not yet.
Go Nuggets and happy Thanksgiving. Nice.
That's exciting.